Class 10, let's continue with the same poem. I know why the cage bird sings. Let's take the third stanza. Fine. The cage bird sings with fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on a distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. Now, the cage bird sings with fearful trill. Trill means a vibrant voice, shaking voice, fine? So, we know in the previous stanza we read that the cage bird is having the only option the cage bird is having is to sing, is to open his throat and sing. So, the cage bird sings with fearful trill. The cage bird is afraid, fine? It sings, it's afraid. Why it is afraid? Because he has never been free to know the unknown. He never realizes the true freedom, he never enjoyed the true freedom, fine? So the cage bird sings with fearful trills of thing unknown but long for still. The cage bird sings in a fearful voice, in a shaking voice. Clear? He can sing, the bird can sing, but his voice betrays his fear. Fine? Because the cage bird is afraid, as he has never been free to know the unknown. What is the unknown here? Unknown here means the freedom that the cage bird never enjoyed but longed for. Still, long means desire, but he desires that freedom. He still longs for freedom. Clear? So the cage bird, it sings in a shaking voice of the things unknown. Clear? What unknown? Of the unknown freedom. The freedom that is not known to him, but still he desires for that freedom. And the bird is hapless and hopeless. Clear? The bird is very unlucky and hopeless. And his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. The bird is so hapless, so hopeless that his song sounds like a nightmarish scream, as somebody is screaming in his night dream. It seems like that, clear? And his voice is heard far and wide, even on the far away hills. Fine. So, what does it mean by that his voice is heard far on distant hill? The African Americans, they sings for freedom, but their opinion is not given very much importance. Nobody gives too much importance to their opinion. So that is why he sings of freedom, but because he is singing in a fearful voice, he never sings freely. So that is why his voice is heard far and wide, even on the distant hills. For the cage bird sings of freedom, because the song of the cage bird expresses his longing for freedom, his desire for freedom. Fine. So, as I already told you, the cage bird symbolizes African Americans. So, the African Americans, they had not experienced true freedom, but they longed for it. They aspired to be free. Fine. They wanted freedom, but they were afraid of the unknown because they have never enjoyed that freedom. Clear? So what the poet is doing here, the poetess is equating herself with this bird. Fine? She has cried for equality and freedom from prejudices, freedom from discriminations. Fine? Her cries were heard, but only as a distant noise. His voice is not given much opinion. She gives expression to the voice of the oppressed people. They are longing for desire. Okay? They had been suppressed for too long. The African Americans has been suppressed for too long, but still they raise their voice for achieving the freedom. That is the right of every human being. Is it clear, children? The free bird think of another breeze, and the trade wind soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on the down bright lawn, and he names the sky his own, Now the stanza again, it goes back to the unrestricted movement of the free bird. Fine. The free bird think of another breeze. The free bird think of another breeze. He can fly anywhere with another breeze in another country. Fine. And the trade wind soft through the sighing tree, and the fat worm waiting on the down bright lawn. Clear? And the trade wind soft through the sighing tree. What are the trade winds? You might have read in geography. The trade winds are the winds that blow continually from the tropical towards the equator. And the trade winds soft through the sighing tree. The trade winds, clear, that help the ships to set sails and move smoothly across the sea and the oceans. Clear? The same trade wind signals the free bird. It beacons the free bird. It gives signal to the free bird. Clear? Soft through and sang the tree. The free bird can fly through the forest, the jungles, through the sighing trees. Clear? And the fat worm waiting on the dawn bright lawn. And the poet has also mentioned here the fat worms that are waiting on the lawn at sunrise to be eaten by him. This also shows the freedom of the bird. Clear, the bird is having the freedom to eat whatever he likes. Fine. And he names the sky his own. The bird can claim the whole sky as his own. Clear? The fat worms on the grass are his food. Clear? Am I clear, children, with this stanza? So here again we can see the contrast between the free bird and the caged bird. A free bird has freedom of thoughts and movements. It can think anything it like. It can go anywhere. He can enjoy the nature. He can find his own food. Clear? And the freedom of the bird, it fills us with ecstasy. It fills us with happiness. But at the same time, clear, it presents a dull, oppressive condition of the caged bird.